is known by what name? Google, Megatron, Gigabit, Nanomole. What? 1 million!
In September 2001, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire commanded the attention of 19 million viewers. A third of the entire UK population tuned in to watch contestants navigate a high-stakes trivia gauntlet. Major Charles Ingram navigated that gauntlet with a highly erratic strategy. He frequently admitted to having no idea what an answer was, only to completely change his guess seconds later, eventually securing the £1 million prize. Behind the scenes, the showrunners flagged his performance immediately. Reviewing the audio takes, they suspected Ingram was being guided by an audience member named Tequin Whittock, who seemed to cough loudly whenever Ingram read a correct option aloud. This chaotic scheme instantly consumed the British press, yet the intense national fixation on one clumsy contestant provided perfect cover for a highly organized industrial-scale operation, extracting millions from the exact same studio. This diagram illustrates the cascading probability of Ingram's run. To secure the million, he had to guess correctly on a 1 in 4 options 7 times in a row, plus a 1 in 2 split. The mathematical probability of achieving this without assistance is 0.003%. Statistical analysis by Liam Shaw isolated 19 significant coughs from Whittock. The chance of those specific coughs aligning perfectly with the correct answers, entirely by coincidence, sits at roughly 8%. The British tabloid seized these numbers and constructed a sensationalized trial by media. The narrative of a fraudulent military major was highly profitable, filling front pages and television segments for a year and a half before the case ever reached a courtroom. While the nation poured its energy into debating a few dozen throat clearings, a completely legal syndicate was quietly neutralizing the show's defenses. They would ultimately walk away with £44.2 million. Inside the Southwark Crown Court, the case against the Ingrams relied heavily on an audio recording edited by the production company Celador. The adjustments amplified the ambient noise, making the coughs sound significantly more pronounced than they were on the studio floor. The defense countered that Whittock suffered from a documented lifelong respiratory condition. They also pointed out the sheer illogicality of the alleged plot. If 3 highly educated adults were planning a heist on national television, they could have easily coded their signals instead of relying on a constant, highly detectable hack. The guilty verdict triggered extreme public retaliation. The Ingrams were bankrupted, their daughters faced harassment at school, vandals attacked their home, and their family cat was shot and killed. Whittock resigned from his lecturing career in disgrace. He even had to legally trademark his own name to prevent commercial companies from using it as a punchline for cough syrup. Because their alleged strategy was messy and visually apparent, the Ingrams were easily packaged as simple villains. The public consumed the narrative, leaving 3 lives completely ruined. During this exact same period, Patty Spooner and Keith Burgess recognized that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was highly predictable. They teamed up to build an underground syndicate known as the Consortium. This map tracks the volume of their first step. The consortium spent thousands of pounds mass dialing the show's premium registration lines, using brute force statistics to guarantee their clients would get through the initial barrier. When producers called back, the clients claimed they weren't home. This deliberate stall gave consortium members the time they needed to race over and sit in the room for the next phase. With an expert on site, they breezed through the phone-in qualifier questions, which Spooner had realized were being pulled sequentially from a national statistics database. Clients then trained on physical, custom-built mock buzzers to ensure they would dominate the initial fastest finger round. The final step bypassed the studio entirely. If a client reached the hot seat and needed a lifeline, the consortium rerouted the phone-a-friend call to a dedicated safe house. Inside, a neutral operator on a muted line relayed the question to a room full of trivia experts and researchers armed with internet access. This chart highlights the financial impact of the operation. Between 2002 and 2007, the consortium secured 200 spots on the show and put 55 clients in the hot seat, securing 26% of all the money awarded by the program. The Ingrams, whether guilty or not, played a high-risk game of chance under the studio lights. The consortium mapped the show's structural weaknesses and mathematically neutralized them, turning a trivia contest into an automated cash dispenser. While Charles and Diana Ingram faced criminal convictions and public destruction, the consortium operated entirely in the open without facing a single legal consequence. The public response highlights a distinct psychological blind spot. Audiences are easily captivated by a theatrical, individual villain acting out on stage. But quiet, systemic manipulation happening over phone lines and spreadsheets simply fails to provoke the exact same level of public outrage. Spooner and Burgess never explicitly broke the law. By exploiting the show's own callback protocols and relying on off-site resources, their 5-step process simply optimized the existing rules to their absolute limits. The producers built a system to detect nervous contestants glancing into the audience. They never constructed security measures capable of stopping an industrialized off-camera supply chain. Today, the architects of the consortium operate completely unburdened. They published a book detailing their syndicate's operation and are widely regarded as clever tacticians. In 2020, Patty Spooner even sat down with Paul Smith, the original managing director of the production company. They amicably discussed the exact methods Spooner used to extract millions from Smith's own company. Meanwhile, the Ingrams carry a permanent stigma. Even decades later, they remain isolated, continually maintaining their innocence while serving a life sentence in the court of public opinion. A society rarely punishes those who find a way to extract wealth efficiently. It reserves its anger for those who are clumsy enough to get caught making a mess, while quietly congratulating anyone who successfully treats a game like a business.